Hi, I just wanted to make a quick video before I have to go to work in 10 minutes. I meant to do this last night, but I completely forgot. And originally wanted to do a video about being trans at work, whether you're out or not out, keeping it to yourself, or only a few people know, or whatever. But that'll have to be for another time whenever I have more time to make another video. But I decided a quick little story I can tell is about the time I accidentally came out. And this started in my junior year. I was like 2 months from finishing my junior year. And at this time, the whole bathroom issue with letting trans people use the bathroom that they felt comfortable with rather than the one that was on their birth certificate, this was incredibly huge. And it actually got to the point where kids in my school were talking about it, which very rarely do we ever get political in school, but this was big enough to where it started happening. And I went to a school that had maybe 9 to 11 kids in each class, so it was generally small, but I remember this happening. It was maybe 9:30 in the morning, and I was in social studies class. I think it was geography because I forgot to take geography early on in high school. So I was a junior taking geography with a bunch of freshmen and sophomores. And as soon as the teacher left the room, I heard the little chitter chatter of people talking about this. I'm like, okay, people are going to have a civil discussion, because I actually heard people saying, like, I'm on this side of this, I'm on this side of this. And it was actually interesting to listen to. Until the girl in front of me, which I had talked to before, and I thought that we were general acquaintances, but she went out and said they should all know that they are going to be killed because people like me and people like my friends are going to find them, and then started to go onto the religious side of it, saying how they should know that they're going to hell, of course, which I kind of remember what I did, because for a split second, my mind blanked out, and I remember getting up, going right to the front of her desk and saying, "You do know I'm trans, right?" And the whole room went silent. And I kind of surprised myself in saying it, because I guess at that time I was fighting to say who I was in my own head, but then to immediately blurt it out without even fully thinking about it, that half brain cell firing, saying I'm trans. And I remember she just looked at me with such disdain and hate after 2 seconds of her being blank faced. And she got up and she left the room. I sat back down and everyone else was still silent. And that was my accidental coming out without any planning, just spur of the moment, happened. After that, I didn't even tell my parents or my grandparents, who I was living with at the time. I just was like, well, I did that, and I kept it to myself until senior year. But I just thought this was a good time to tell a little story while I had enough time, and it's going to be short, so hopefully I can do quick editing for it to post tonight. But if there was ever a time where you came out and you didn't mean to, hey, I'd like to hear it, because I really want to hope that I'm not the only one who had this embarrassing uh-oh moment. Especially in the area I live in, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I live in Texas, and parts of Texas, sometimes big cities, really great about stuff like this. Whenever I went to Dallas, it was amazing. But I was in a little town. I'm in a slightly bigger town now, but that little town was terrifying to have something like this, because I didn't even know a gay kid in that school. Not saying that in comparison thing, but it's just have someone hey, you're a little bit in the community, what do I do? And I remember it went around for a while in the school until everyone just got quiet about it. But at the time, I also went by Danny, so they all thought like, oh, maybe it's just a nickname thing. But that's whenever they started to figure out that this was who I was. And surprisingly, no one said anything. No one got mad or upset. I did go to the counselor and talk about it for a little bit. And they asked me if like I wanted to use the bathroom that's in the office rather than the girls' bathroom, which I never used the bathroom at school anyway because it always made me uncomfortable. But it was a surprisingly calm experience. Calm with the rest of the world, fireworks and everything going off in my head because I couldn't believe I admitted that finally. That was my short little story, and hopefully I can get to work experiences for my next video, because sometimes it helps people, sometimes it doesn't. I know watching other people talk about their work and how they came out really helped me, especially going to like human resources, but that's for another video. So this is gonna be my goodbye for now.